Mi nombre es Maggie Peredo.
Yo soy Luis Aldrete.
Mi nombre es Gabriela Echegaray.
Soy Diego Ricalde.
So this spring semester, Rise Architecture hosted the Disruptive Housing Symposium, in which we invited 8 architecture offices from Mexico to discuss their work on contemporary housing projects. Mexico has a very rich architectural culture, and so to look at Mexican architecture today is to look at an array of possibilities of all the different ways that you can densify our city centers while keeping a focus basically on the human experience. So we invited what I consider to be a generation of young Mexican architects, already very accomplished, who are very actively pursuing housing as one of the main components of their work. And I am really interested in the way that they are, I think, very explicitly designing for a new generation of buildings in the context of the city.
Housing is and should be very important for architects as well as for people. And if we don't care about housing, if we don't get involved about housing, if we don't think how housing can be or should be, or how can the ways of life inform housing and the other way around, then we are actually neglecting a big part of what architecture is supposed to do.
The typology of housing is something that we should all address as architects, not just because of the richness of it and because it constructs the cultural and the formation of the sprawl in the city, but also because it reflects our way of thinking and living and interacting with our life and the other people. Perhaps if our profession has to do with thinking about how we inhabit, the first typology that we should be willing to address is the ways of and the manners of domesticity in architecture.
The most important thing about housing is how you can resolve the public spaces, because the public spaces becomes meeting points and the people make social contact in a city where we have been losing this social contact in the streets. If you are walking by the sidewalk, it's very difficult to say hello to someone else.
To participate from the city, I think that this is a huge exploration architecture still can do, no matter if it's United States or Mexico or Spain or any country. I think that relationship to the street and that connection between, public, private, and relationship in general in the ground floor are still a matter of architecture.
I think more and more architects and architecture students are interested in issues of equality and concerned with the current inequality in our society. And housing poses, I think, for all of us, an opportunity to contribute to something that is somehow larger than our individual practices and larger than ourselves. And that is how I see, hopefully, that this symposium can be an inspiration for our students and for the practitioners in Houston in trying to think about how the accretion or the addition of our individual actions in the city can build up towards something larger.